We are a civilization addicted to speed, to thrill, and to pleasure. We live with a very poor quality of consciousness that cannot celebrate life as it is. Namaste. How are you? Have you been inwardly peaceful this week as activities are slowly returning to normal? This month is observed world over as Mental Health Awareness Month. Let us talk about that today. Let us talk about addictions, because addictions are the antithesis of mental and emotional wellness. Before you conclude that addiction is not your problem, listen me out to the end. Addictions are many kinds: overeating, oversleeping, gossiping, compulsive lying, playing politics at home and work, continuously watching TV serials, and even continually working can be addictions. And there are classical addictions like addictions to alcohol, nicotine, drugs, and internet gaming. The truth is, we are an addicted civilization. There are more than 300 million alcohol addicts throughout the world. In India alone, we have more than 14 million alcohol addicts. Coming to smoking, in this century, it is expected that over 1 billion people will die world over because of smoking. And a minimum of 100 million people are right now addicted to internet gaming. We are a civilization addicted to speed, to thrill, and to pleasure. We live with a very poor quality of consciousness that cannot celebrate life as it is. We need titillation and continual excitement. So, what is an addiction? Addiction is a compulsive habit to which your mind and body are irresistibly drawn. The temptation is too strong to resist, and most addicts feel that their fight against addiction is a losing battle. It is true that you cannot fight an addiction by using your willpower alone. Fighting an addiction is like fighting with a crocodile in water. In water, a crocodile is way too powerful than you. The chances of your victory are slim. You must understand that an addiction is only a symptom. It is a sign of inner war that is going on within you. It is a sign that you are battling against some reality in life. You are trying to escape some deep unhappiness through this addiction. You are trying to fill yourself with this addiction. Every addict is a wounded human being within. Whether they recognize it or not, they are in dire need of healing. To have a better understanding of yourself, answer my question. Think of a time when drinking or smoking or internet gaming was a simple and a harmless pastime for you that you used to engage in for fun with your friends. When did it actually become an addiction? When did that simple fun activity become the master and you become the slave? Let me remind you, it became an addiction at a point when life became a struggle for you, or when you became unhappy about your progress in your career, or when you became dissatisfied with love in your relationships. It became an addiction when life became meaningless and boring. Remember, you cannot give up your addiction to alcohol until you become free of the pain of being a failure. You cannot become free of the habit of binge eating until you give up the pain of feeling unloved and unwanted. You cannot become free of your addiction to smoking until you become free of haunting boredom and meaninglessness. Becoming free of addiction is not as difficult as it sounds. Every one of you can do it. We have seen thousands of people giving up their addictions spontaneously when they made peace with life. Not only do the people who come to Ekam give up addictions, even their loved ones back home give up addictions, impacted by the transformations of these people. Let me narrate a real life experience to you. This guy is a personality development coach from Latin America who was attending Ekam Abundance Festival. During the festival, he had an experience of a massive awakening of the heart and connected to his eldest son. His eldest son had been a matter of public shame for him. His eldest son was about 34 years old, a chronic alcoholic, and was unsettled in any sort of career or relationship. One of the days at festival in Ekam, the divine opened his heart and made him conscious of the terrible loneliness his son had grown up with, right from his childhood into his teens and adulthood. He felt his son's frustration at not being able to measure up to his standards. He saw that as a father, he had been unavailable to his son to love him and help him come out of his emotional conflicts. He had been addicted to work and his own pursuit of success all his life as a father. In those moments at Ekam, in front of Hiranyagarbha, tears streamed down his eyes because he felt a tender love and a sense of oneness with his son. In his spiritual vision, he felt the divine blessing his son. That night, he called his son and simply listened, simply feeling the pain and frustration in his son's voice without correcting and advising. On the seventh day's evening, before the festival concluded, the man's son calls him and tells him that he is considering giving up alcohol and settling into a job. In the past 2 years, the father and son have returned to the festival thrice. Now the young man is awakened to a deep inner peace. He works with his father and is learning to coach people himself. We are not a de-addiction center. No. Ekam is a space of divine power. Here people's hearts heal. When the heart heals, addictions spontaneously fall away. Your journey to freedom begins with recognizing your addiction, not in denying it. You become serious about your journey only when you see the impact of your addiction on your life as a whole and on the lives of your children and partner. Life is not to be lived in slavery of any kind. It is to be lived in freedom.